hello to all of our new followers, listeners, subscribers, or whatever it is.
Patreons.
Whatever it is you are following us now in the Too Many Tabs universe, we wanted to send a big shout out and a hello and a welcome on this special free edition of our sister podcast, The Warmup. I know, this is very confusing, so that's why I brought in an explainer expert, somebody who knows to not only how to explain things to somebody, but who can also hold your hand and make sure that this is a smooth transitional process. Mrs. Pearlmania.
I'm going to onboard you.
Onboard the people.
I'm onboarding. The Warm-Up is a podcast that we put on the Patreon every week, usually the middle of the week, because that's when we record the actual episode.
Yes.
And what we do is we sit down across from each other, look each other in the eye, because it's the first time we've done that, probably in a week, and we're getting used to talking to each other like adult humans.
Yeah, and the reason why it's been a week, about a week since we've spoken to each other, is because we are not normally people.
No.
Normally we are
Parents.
Exactly. Exactly.
We're functioning on a different level.
Listen.
But we got childcare. We're in the recording room.
Yep.
Okay.
And we're ready to go. And we're freewheeling on the warm-up, more so than our
we don't-
normal
we don't
podcast, Too
have
Many
any,
Tabs.
What's it called? We don't have anything laid out.
Yeah, we don't have anything laid out about it. And really what this is just a moment, like she was saying, for us to just kind of have them chats.
Yeah, just
and
to
they get a little loosey-goosey.
Just get used to talking about the silly billies.
Yeah, and all
instead
those
of being
different
like,
things.
where's the last of the formula?
Yeah, all those different things are. Nobody wiped down the thing. I don't even have the words.
It's literally just
Usually
anything in the house. Anything in the house.
Listen, if you ever become parents, or you've ever been a parent, you know exactly what the thing is.
Yeah, exactly.
You didn't wipe down the thing, and then both of you are like, sorry,
Jesus
I meant to do it last time.
Oh, Jesus.
It's probably my fault.
It's fine. I love you anyway.
See, and that's what the podcast is about, and that's what Beginning Warm is about. Too Many Tabs is our podcast where every single week, one of us does research on a topic or reads a book and explains the entire thing to the other one. And to get ready to do that, we have to just kind of have a yap session. But so let's us start that yap session right now by me playing our theme song. Getting warm.
Toasty.
Woohoo.
So what are we talking about today?
Well, okay, so today
there's nothing important happening in the next 72 hours.
Nothing at all.
Nothing weird, crazy,
Nothing
out of the ordinary.
No. Today is January 18th, 2025. We're currently recording at 3:30 p.m. on the East Coast.
It's actually 3:33.
Okay, when we started, it was 3:30.
When we started, it was 2:30.
Okay, but then I discovered a bunch of technical issues. Now, but basically, one of the reasons we're doing this extra special free edition of our Patreon podcast, the reason why we're doing this is because today we're assuming is the final day of TikTok.
Oh my God.
And so there may be more people coming over and then listening for the first time.
Arms of the angels,
and we want to make sure that we...
fly away from here.
You okay, Sarah McLachlan?
I'm just picturing sad puppies.
Oh my God, remember the other day when we actually watched TV?
Oh my God. That's where it came
Yeah, no, that's exactly where it came from.
my
Hold
God.
on. All right. Okay. So, TikTok is going away now, possibly, maybe. I don't know.
Who knows?
There's actually, it's the things that have been coming out are so nuts because I'm a creator on TikTok. Obviously, you guys know that, and might be where you know me from. But like the emotional whiplash, we have been running under the assumption since whatever it was in 2020 when Trump passed the executive order that TikTok was going to be banned, that TikTok was going to be banned.
Yeah.
And then when the bills kept coming up, I was like, I fought really hard and a bunch of other people did. And we called Congress and they got postponed. Yeah. And we're like, we're safe. We're good. And then when a bunch of other different stuff happened, we kept being like, all right, we're just pushing it. We're kicking the can down the road. And then when it got signed, we're like, yeah, there's a court case. There's this thing, the Supreme Court. And so the last week, since the Supreme Court case happened, has been every 3 hours, a different news source or somebody from a back room telling the world it is or isn't going to happen. Yeah. And we don't even have a fucking timestamp.
Yeah, I also think there's a really interesting thing about like people that use TikTok going through the stages of grief that I've been witnessing, like as an outsider, because I'm not a creator on TikTok per se. Like I'm in your TikTok sometimes. Yeah. But you know, people were in denial for so long. Like, this isn't going to happen. This isn't going to happen. And then it was, like, really into anger. People were pissed. And then there was, like, this bargaining phase. We're like, maybe this will change it. Yeah. And so watching everybody go through the phases of grief and now, you know, tomorrow it could go dark.
Yeah.
And it's like everybody is just like out of their minds.
And it's been one of those things.
And a lot for good reason. A lot of people created companies. A lot of businesses have employees.
I found a long lost cousin through TikTok.
That's true.
We've never even really talked about it, but I have a cousin, and I didn't know. We didn't know. We didn't know. TikTok is how I discovered lost families. So my family came over. At that time, it was the Russian Empire in like around 1910. 3 brothers fled an area.
Yeah.
And they came over here, and they all went to different parts of the United States.
Yeah.
My grandfather and the one brother had like somewhat of a connection. The third brother, though, I don't know why. They just didn't fucking talk.
They said bye.
And he moved to around Michigan somewhere.
Yeah.
And then one day, I'm scrolling through TikTok. I see this guy. He's kind of funny. I'm like, that's kind of funny. Oh, my God. We have the same last name. That's pretty weird.
Kind of looks similar.
I liked it. I subscribed. And then he messaged me. He's like, I have a question. I'm like, what? He's like, did your grandfather, did your family come in through the United States through Baltimore? And I'm like, what? And then we start talking, and it's like, yeah. And then I talked to my dad, and we looked at each other. Like, he doesn't have red hair, but he has a red beard.
Yeah.
And then like I eventually like met his sister at a thing, and his name is Zach Perlman.
Who that sister, mom, incredible. Shout out.
We met the mom too. We met her at a different event.
So nice.
But Zach Perlman, you guys may know from a Key and Peele sketch because he played A.A. Ron. I am cousins with A.A. Ron from the Key and Peele sketch. Yeah. I did not fucking know that until TikTok. But also on top of that, for all the other obvious reasons, like I've made so many friends through TikTok who are actual like friends, like texting friends.
Yeah.
Not DMs.
No.
We traded phone numbers.
That's right.
We texted. We've had meals together. We've met IRL in the meat space.
Stop saying meat space.
No, I
hate it
I am
so
a millennial.
much.
I'm a 40-year-old millennial man, and
Everyone
that's what we've always called it.
you're a millennial. You can just tell. I can just tell you're a millennial. You're wearing a V-neck t-shirt.
Yeah, I know.
Of course you're a millennial.
I'm so mad that they don't make them anymore.
Because
every time I go out, I will say, okay, real fast.
Yeah.
I do look fatter in V-neck t-shirts. V-neck t-shirts were designed for a less gutty Pearlmania.
Okay.
All right. And so remember how I bought that one shirt?
I'm not going to comment on your body, okay?
No, that's fine. I will. Let me body check myself. I learned that term on our podcast, Too Many Tabs. You can listen to that episode. It's about, what's her name with the ukulele? With the ukulele apology.
It began with a C, right?
Yeah.
I forget her name.
Yeah, I can't remember what her name is. But she did the remember the bad ukulele? Guys, remember on TikTok when she did the bad ukulele? She did it on YouTube, but man, did we bring it all over to fucking TikTok.
Colleen Ballinger.
Yeah,
that was crazy.
Yeah, we have an episode about that. It's in there. It's in the archives. But yeah, I bought a t-shirt, and it's actually one of the newer cuts that are more stylish.
Yeah, it's got the bigger shoulders. It's a wide cut.
It's a wide cut. When I first put it on, I felt ridiculous, but then I saw myself in the mirror. I'm like, oh, you don't look fat in this. Oh. And I was like, because it drapes from the neck.
Yeah, it drapes from the neck.
It doesn't drape from the body, so it's not pulling as tight. And I was like, oh, V-necks were for when you thought you had the Anderson Cooper cut.
Yep.
Right? You got that Anderson Cooper fucking in Lebanon cutting a video from a hurricane site type of deal. Like that's the Anderson Cooper V-neck, right? No. I got a streamer body now, baby. I got a streamer body. What am I doing with this body? I'm sitting. What am I doing? Oh, where do you live? Do you live in the city where you walk everywhere? Hell no. We live in the suburbs. We got to drive to everything.
Walking everywhere. I don't know why someone would build the suburbs.
I know why they built it.
I know why they did.
We covered it in an episode, actually.
Redlining episode.
Yes, we did. Oh my God, this is becoming a preview. We have an episode about redlining, which is the practice that banks and the federal government used to sequester black people into certain neighborhoods.
Yeah,
and to make other areas whites only.
Food deserts.
Yes, and a bunch of other different reasons. It's a great episode. You can listen to that one.
Also, I think I scream about HOAs a lot in that one.
We do. We scream a lot about HOAs.
I hate an HOA.
Because HOAs were also designed because of racism. You're paying extra.
You're paying extra for the racism.
Yeah.
And you don't even get to pick out your color of your garbage cans.
No?
That's what I mean. Like the HOAs have the rules.
That's true. Yeah. I hate it when they're like, you can't have this type of fence. And I'm like, bitch, I can put up a fence wherever I want. It's my property.
Yeah. What are you, me?
Oh, I know. You, listen, Mrs. P, for those of you guys who don't know, Mrs. Pearlmania, big on her, what?
Liberties.
She loves a liberty.
I don't like when they're taken away.
No, she doesn't.
That's why I don't like this TikTok ban.
Yeah, because they're taken away our liberties.
I have a right to download any app I want. Okay? You guys can't come together on anything else.
So much so that when they said, don't give your data to China.
Oh, bet I did.
The first person in this household that downloaded Red Note is sitting across from me at this table right here.
I was like, what's going on?
And can I tell you, she spent the last week of the TikTok ban, I'd say she probably spent 60% of that on Red Note. Being like, look at this snack.
Oh, yeah, because you get to pick what you want to look at.
Yeah.
And snacks was a selection.
It just
Can you imagine?
Not food.
No, snacks.
No. Because Meta, Mark Zuckerberg, and all these other fuckers, whenever they're like, oh, here's some ideas, they'll just write food.
Yeah, no.
But on this one, they were like snacks. Do you like dinner or do you like snacks?
They had dinner. They had restaurants, food prep, recipes, and then one that was just called snacks. And I said, let me get in there. That's what I want to be.
Because you love what? You love cats. You love snacks.
And I love naps.
That's you.
That's my favorite thing.
And guess what they have on Red Note? They have all those things. They had a squirrel that I've never seen before. I thought I knew every squirrel.
The flower squirrel with the little ears. It's so crazy cute.
It was the cutest squirrel I've ever seen. And it was just sitting there just eating.
I like how half of TikTok got radicalized in 2 days towards communism by being on Red Note. You and I were like, have you seen this fucking squirrel?
But also not just communism, like Maoism. Like that is so crazy. But it also is like exactly a clip. There's this movie that had John Candy in it, which it's about like Peace Corps people in like, I want to say like the 60s or something like that. Like they go to someplace in Southeast Asia, and they have to build this bridge, and it's like a bridge over River Kwai type of thing, but it's Peace Corps people. And somehow like the members of like the Chinese Communist Army, the Red Army, capture John Candy. And he's like, I'm a red-blooded American. You'll never turn me. And then it just does like a swipe. And he's in the full Red Army garb. And he's like, we must kill the landlords. As the proletariat will rise. And you're like, what? And they're like, the guy who brainwashed him is over it. He's like, this guy's so, because again, a convert is the most annoying person.
Yeah.
It's so good. It's happened so rapidly. It's the funniest goddamn thing.
It's so funny.
It's the fun.
Okay, wait. I want to just preface this.
Yeah.
It's not funny that people are weeping on the internet, finally understanding the inequity.
Yes.
And the fact that like food prices and housing prices and our health insurance, like that anger and rage, I absolutely understand it and I agree with them on.
Yeah.
It is funny to me that it only took 48 hours to bear witness to kind Chinese people explaining to them, hey, this is how the rest of the world lives. And they were like, holy shit. But the funniest thing to me personally is that I already had those thoughts in my mind. So I was scrolling past all that. Because I was like, red pandas. They have so many cute red panda videos.
I love a red panda.
I literally just was looking at red panda videos.
I kept getting served
and
guns.
Everybody else was
mine was the most beautiful guns. I'm not even into guns.
Yeah.
But they're like, this is the most beautiful.
They're ornamental and
very,
gold.
very intricate designs. And then they're like, you think those are cool? Check out these pocket guns. I'm like, pocket guns? And there was this one where this guy, it just has a series of like these little, it's like, it looks like a business card. And he's like, and he snaps out like a transformer. It's a gun. And I'm like, whoa. I was like, that's cool. You can't even post that on TikTok.
No.
That's actually against community guidelines.
You'd be in trouble for that.
But on Red Note, they're like, no.
It's fine.
No. We're communists. We fuck with guns. And I was like, yo!
Yo.
But also, I think I posted about this in a TikTok. And the part that I find funny is that the United States federal government and the argument that Mark Zuckerberg and these other billionaires have used as to why TikTok needed to be silenced is because that it was pushing propaganda, specifically propaganda that was being used by the Chinese Communist Party, and that it was pushing people towards communism, and that it was pushing people, and this whole thing, everything that's happening that's evil in the world, they have said has been due to TikTok, right? And that we had to protect our fucking data. And what happened? The hammer came down, the line came down, and what did the American people do? We said, oh, bet, you told me I can't do something? You told me I can't give my fucking data to China? Yo, fuck you, dude. Yo, Chinese dude, here. Yo, what? Yo, why's your corn cheaper?
You're like,
yo, why's your corn cheaper?
We make corn.
The corn's from Iowa. What the fuck? That's Nebraska corn. Like, that is so wild. But also, there was, and again, I mentioned this, the other part that caught me off guard, and again, I have to remind myself, I have been lucky in my life in that I have been able to travel internationally and also been educated in world history.
Yeah.
and was taught how to look at the rest of the world, like how to actually literally see it, where to go to on Google Earth. Like sometimes every now and then I get bored and I'm like, what does Mongolia look like?
Yeah.
Like, because I've heard of Mongolia, but like you can go on Google Earth and just, I click down streets sometimes.
Yeah.
I just go on Google Maps and just go and go down this different way. And so like there's a lot of people who believe that if you cross the border into Mexico, everything goes into sepia tone. There's a lot of people who believe Africa is huts and they don't know like how built up Nigeria, Kenya, South Africa, Egypt, all these other, like there's these incredibly huge, massive cities that are, you would think are equal to Columbus, Ohio.
Yeah.
Probably, actually,
okay.
They surpass Columbus, Ohio.
I feel
honestly,
like...
Yo, my apologies to everyone in Columbus, Ohio, but you live in the third world. Okay? You live in the third world. By the way, while we're at it, the second world, by the way, I know it's something, first world, third world, it's weird. Where's the second world? The second world is communism. Just so you know. Just so you know, that is the definition. The first world is capitalist countries, developed, and this is under the definitions. The first world is developed capitalist countries.
Yeah.
The third world, we're supposed to be developing nations, which in reality means places that we strip all the resources from.
Yeah.
And then the second world was just like, yo, the enemies. Like that was it. That was their communist enemy. Like that's how we viewed it during the Cold War. That's that terminology. That's where it comes from. And so when people are seeing a nation like China that has been demonized for so long and that is currently being demonized at a rate that's crazy.
Yeah.
It's making people, it's like, it's a gateway.
Yeah.
Very much into like the reason, there was a South Park episode years ago about how the reason why pot's a gateway drug. Pot isn't a gateway drug because, oh my God, I smoke pot. And then, you know what, let me try crack.
Yeah.
No, pot's a gateway drug because they told you that marijuana is the worst thing in the world and that if you smoke pot, you're going to put a baby into a microwave.
Oh, okay. I don't remember them saying that.
No, there's if you go back to like the 60s and the 70s propaganda, especially right before we were born, they got crazy with like the anti-weed, especially propaganda in the United States. Pot is a gateway drug because the people were telling you, the government, your parents, everybody was telling you that it's this horrible thing that if you ever smoke it or if you ever touch it, it's going to destroy your life. Yeah. Right? And then you did, and nothing bad happened. And in fact, cartoons were funny, and you discovered the wonderful world of butterscotch crimpets.
That's a regional delicacy.
So then you go, oh, well, we'll try. Okay, that wasn't so bad. So maybe they're lying about something else. And then you try some other stuff. Yeah. And before you know it, you're going deeper and deeper down because they played too far out in the goalie. Yeah. Mm-hmm. They were too far out, and you got right past.
To be clear, this is not us saying do drugs. Don't do drugs. Everything's fentanyl now. Don't do it. Okay, guys.
Allegedly.
Okay.
That's an allegedly button. We invented that because every now and then we got to hit that button.
I don't know why we need an allegedly button. Isn't Big Fentanyl going to sue me?
I don't know.
Big Fentanyl's going to come here?
I don't know what Big Fentany's going to do.
I know BetterHelp wants to sue me, but not Big Fentanyl.
All right. We do have an episode that BetterHelp got. It's funny because it's actually funny because BetterHelp never got mad about that episode. They got mad about what I said about them on TikTok because I said that they were collaborators with the Israeli government.
Prove us wrong.
Which they were. And then Snopes wrote an article about it. I have a Snopes article about me. TikTok has been about TikTok. This is, by the way, has always been about TikTok. Back to Red Note, though. Okay. I find it just so fascinating, though, of like how badly they fumbled this moment. Yeah. Because across the board, it's never been more apparent of how the tech bro overlords, the techno king Elon Musk, Mark Zuckerberg, Jeff Bezos, and others, and even Google and YouTube have pushed so hard for this TikTok ban because they knew the way to get rid of competition. Most people viewing this way, they knew this was the only way they could get rid of the competition. They couldn't innovate to keep up. CapCut is the absolute best editing software I've ever used as a non-editor. Yeah. I know there's a lot of people out there who, they have different editing softwares they prefer. CapCut was so intuitive. Why? Because it wasn't designed by an engineer and it wasn't designed for an editor. Yeah. If you're good at Adobe Premiere, if you're good at editing software, you already were taught those baselines. So changing the user interface is going to be harder for you, right? So CapCut designed one because they know most people aren't fucking editors. So I was able to just squeeze an overlay. Let me push this in here. Cut this real easy. People got really good at making TikTok edits and CapCut edits because it was designed for people to use, not for Paramount Studios and anyone being paid by David Zaslav over at HBO Max.
Whoa.
This was all like, that was a big thing. Because everybody knew when Reels first rolled out, it didn't have the editing software built in. When YouTube Shorts until recently did not even have captioning built in. Yeah. CapCut and TikTok has had captioning for almost 3 years now. And good captioning, no less. I didn't have to actually change that much. At the beginning, when I was changing a lot of my captions, it was for 2 reasons. One, I was
hide the curse words.
Hiding the curse words.
You gotta hide the curse words.
And the insults.
Yeah.
Because listen,
because you always getting reported for bullying.
I was getting reported a lot. I was getting reported a lot.
For the bullying.
One point, they pulled down one of my videos for sexually harassing Ben Shapiro.
Was that the one we were talking about as lip filler?
No, it was a different one where I honestly didn't age well. I was defending Lizzo. No, it was because of she played a flute, a crystal flute, and Ben Shapiro made a whole big deal about it, and I called him a non-kosher penis.
Okay, yeah.
Shrimp dick.
Yeah.
That's the word I used. But so because of that, I learned, I was like, oh, if I change these, because I knew on.
Wait, didn't Lizzo get vindicated? I think the lawsuit, like everything cleared.
I don't know if she's been. I don't believe she's been vindicated yet.
I saw her on a podcast with Kiki Palmer, but it was only a clip. Because I'll stop and watch anything with Kiki Palmer. I see Kiki Palmer on TikTok, I'm stopping. I want to see what's going on.
You love a Kiki.
I love Kiki Palmer. Yeah. And so I saw her and Lizzo talking about it. I would have to look into it. I don't know for sure.
Yeah, I would say it's been time.
Yeah.
It's just been so much time. And so a lot of that story kind of like fell off, and it just kind of sits in the background.
Lizzo was the queen of TikTok.
She was for a very long time.
Especially with the music. Oh my God.
Yeah, no, she was really, really killing it. And like Barbie came out and all that stuff. Like they really cut the legs out of the rest of that Barbie summer for her. So like when Barbie was up for an Oscar, like. And so
Barbie summer.
There's a lot of that lawsuit which like she admitted to, like going to the club and all that stuff.
Into it.
I know.
I don't want to get into it.
Okay, we don't have to go that deep into it.
Yeah.
No. Okay. Not like a banana.
Okay.
But that was part of the lawsuit. Look it up.
No. Okay.
Okay. What? I don't want to. I'm not trying to send a hate mob to Lizzo. I follow her on Blue Sky.
Perfect.
Which I've been on for a while. I like Blue Sky.
Yeah.
You hate it.
I don't hate it. It just doesn't. It's not as intuitive.
It's not as fun.
But I also never was a Twitter girly.
No.
I never did Twitter really.
You always hated me on Twitter.
Yeah.
You were always like, stop looking at Twitter. And I was like, well, whatever. But then that was the one thing. Honestly, that's what it was. That's what it really came down to at the end of the day for us, for our marriage. TikTok mixed the immediacy of Twitter with the silliness of like YouTube and what old Facebook was.
Yeah.
It took those two things and it mashed them together. And it did it in a really, really, really good way.
Yeah.
And it annoys me that instead of American companies trying to actually ask a creator or user of TikTok what they actually like about it, or trying to study it to like make something close to it. You've stolen everything else.
So hire a spy to get employed at TikTok and steal the algorithm. Like, are we not hiring spies anymore?
Yeah. Instead, what do? You had to run to the fucking daddy government, you big bitch. Oh, look at me, I'm Elon Musk. My grandfather was a Nazi chiropractor in Canada.
There's an episode about that.
Yeah, we do. It's called Elon Musk Racist Grandpa. Listen, we've learned a lot.
Yeah, we've been doing
with
stuff.
you guys.
Yeah.
Our listeners. And our new listeners, you're going to learn a lot with us too. And we're really happy to have you.
We have a fun time doing it.
We do.
It's not all about learning.
We do. But the one thing I dropped off earlier was talking about with TikTok is like the emotional whiplash. Because it's like every 3 hours. Yeah. While we were recording this, I'm literally getting texts from people who are telling me like different. It's at midnight. It's gonna be at 8:30. It's gonna be this time. Like what time it's just done.
It's done. Yeah.
Right. And Donald Trump is now being listed as the possible savior, which is very funny. It's very funny that we've gone full circle from the problem he started to him being the one to fix it.
Yeah, I don't think he's. I don't think he's going to. I don't have faith in him at all.
But what he said, apparently, according to Popbase.
Oh, that's trusted resource right there.
Donald Trump has told NBC News that he will, quote, most likely, unquote, give TikTok a 90-day extension to avoid a ban when he takes office. Quote, if I decide to do that, I'll probably announce it on Monday. Quote, if I decide to do that. Because again.
Classic promo. He's doing a promo for his inauguration.
I want you guys to know that this is, stay tuned. We are back into 90s reality TV living.
Well, Vince McMahon trained him very well.
We have an episode about that.
We have an episode about how they're besties.
Yeah, and about how the WWE created Donald Trump and actually
So that's why he's dropping a promo for Monday.
Yeah, he is. And this is very Vince McMahon coded.
Can I just say, yes. I cannot fucking believe that the inauguration is going to be on Dr. Martin Luther King Day.
I can, because we live in hell. I can believe it. So just because we live in hell.
Day of service, I can't.
We live in hell. We live in hell.
Hey, listen, but we got to make the silly billies and the best out of it. Okay?
We do, and that's what we're going to do with our special episode. Hand me that book.
Okay.
Because I haven't read it yet, because you read it.
Yeah, okay, just to be clear, the book club episodes of our podcast, we do, most episodes are just a basic lore. I look up something or you look up something, and then we try to explain it to each other, and we have a silly billy fun time. Our ADHD is uncontrolled. There's no medication to help us with it. And then once a month, I read a book. And then I explain that book to you. It's called Mrs. P's Book Club.
Yep.
There's a whole log of them. They're very funny. Some people say they're the best part of our podcast. I'm not going to say, but like some people are saying that.
Yep.
And this week, I've decided, and you agreed, that the next 72 hours are going to be really fucking weird and harsh and anxiety-inducing. So what I said, fuck it. We're not going to do any episode about history or politics or any of that bullshit. We're going to do a silly book, and we're going to vibe out.
Yep.
And it's going to be a long episode.
And goddamn, do we have some good vibes, because what's the book called? Bored Gay Werewolf.
He's holding up the picture of the
That's
book
it right now. Bored Gay Werewolf. And it's in Brat Summer Green.
Yeah.
This book is gay.
Yeah.
Hey, but let me tell you something. When you're done this, you will not be bored. I can feel it, because you've actually been like pulsating. You've been wanting to tell me about this book for a while now.
Show off my bookmark.
Pull
it out. Let's see what it looks like.
Oh,
it's got a Tufty Boy.
A little Tufty Boy on there.
It's a bird bookmark I got at Longwood Gardens.
Well, and also, you've more importantly, you've been trying desperately to have me do a YouTube video about birds.
I do. Listen, leave a comment. Alex has been doing YouTube videos about tier lists. We've been doing all these tier lists and writing them out together, right? And I want him to do a tier list of birds. Just like owl versus woodpecker versus cardinal or whatever, just like a selection of birds, and then him just try to be like, well, I feel like this bird's S tier, and then tell me why you think it's S tier.
So and here's the reasoning. And if I make it, this will be one of the things. I know nothing about birds. Yeah. That's what's important, right? Because there's Brennan Lee Mulligan from Dimension 20. He's big into birds. Yeah. Okay. When it comes to birds, I'm a cash.
Yeah.
And that casualness started during the pandemic.
Yeah.
When I bought a bird feeder because I needed to look at something that wasn't
the internet.
No, us. We were just staring at each other one day, and I was like, I want to look out the window.
Yeah.
And I hung a bird feeder, and I put some seeds in it, and then suddenly birds started showing up, and I was like, oh, I like these birds.
Yeah.
And then before I knew it, I had Mrs. Beath was like, he has a lot of opinions about birds, and I'm like, I don't.
He's like, I like that Tufty Boy over there.
Yo, I love me a bird.
Yeah.
Okay, and maybe.
I think leave a comment if you want to see a tier list on YouTube of the birds.
But right now, what I'll do for you right now is we are going to end this episode.
D tier.
Yo, fuck a seagull. Fuck a
pigeons
seagull.
A tier. Maybe S tier.
Pigeons are okay.
Because pigeons are.
You're wrong on both.
Okay.
I'm not going to tell you my reasoning because I want people to want this video. Because I have my reasonings or why pigeons make me feel bad.
Yeah, they should.
Because of the story of pigeons.
But I love pigeons because Bert was my favorite Sesame Street character, and he loved pigeons, and so I love pigeons, and I think we should appreciate them more. But that's for a tier list.
That's for a tier of my opinion. But we need to stop. We got to stop.
Okay, we got to get the regular episode.
We got to get the regular episode recorded.
Childcare's got to go home.
Yes. Thank you guys so much for listening to this episode of The Warm-Up from Too Many Tabs. We will be back tomorrow, Sunday.
Yep. That's our usual
January
drop
19th at 5 p.m. That is when we typically drop our episodes.
Yeah.
So look forward to that episode. It'll be up very shortly.
Do the dishes. Go for a walk.
It's perfect.
Oh, if you have to go to work on Monday, listen to this. Yeah. Don't do work.
No, listen. If you have to go to work on Tuesday, listen to this. If you have to go to work on Wednesday, listen to this. If you have to go to work on Thursday, call out.
Yeah, call out sick.
Fucking be like, no, what do you have? I don't know, fascism.
Shut up.
I'm sick with fascism.
Okay.
All right.
We're trying to keep the vibes up. Stop trying to bring them down.
Also download that Woman Chi song and play that when every time your boss is if your boss is like, I don't know, you guys gotta stay late. It's like, Woman Chi, she lied, you come on. I don't know how the song goes, but it's incredible. With that, thank you guys so much, and let's. We're warm.
Pearlmania, 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 500.